Right now at 6, authorities investigate an officer-involved shooting which leaves a man dead in rural Joplin.
And it is cold outside. If you haven't been out there yet, trust me, it's cold. But we will eventually warm up later today. We'll look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, we spoke to some shoppers about how they're saving money during this year's Thanksgiving shopping.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday, November the 26th, 2 days away from Thanksgiving. So talking about saving money this Thanksgiving season, hopefully you're getting what you need.
Right. I know certain things like eggs, the prices have increased a little bit.
They have.
So, wherever you can find those deals for sure.
And that's the thing. There's a lot of deals, and I think that was something our story mentioned too, is apps.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not much of an app person. My wife is, so she.
They definitely serve their purpose if you want to utilize them.
They do, yeah. And I've watched her, get $100 worth of stuff at a store and then bring that total down to like $30 with the app.
You remember that show, Extreme Couponing, from back in the day?
This is the modern version of that. It is. So hopefully you can extreme coupon for the Thanksgiving meal, and if not, well, it's going to be a little pricey this year. Yeah. Let's take a look outside, shall we? There we are. We're looking outside. Courtesy of a camera in downtown Pittsburgh, and it is our camera, and it is placed at 4th and Broadway, and I'm experiencing a couple of technical difficulties here. Have to worry about that later. MoDOT camera 32nd range line looks good. We've got partly cloudy skies. We're going to have a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies as we head through the day. Winds will be out of the south, and that will allow most of us to be a bit warmer. As you can see, we're looking to go into the low 50s for the bulk of the region, but some of our far northern counties may only make the upper 40s today, and clouds will increase as we go into the late night hours or the late evening and overnight hours as well. 23 in Joplin, 23 in Pittsburgh, and around the area. Thankfully this morning the winds are lighter because otherwise it'd feel even colder. We've got 21 in Iola. That is the cold spot on this map. And the warm spot right now looks to be Bentonville, sitting at 28. So all of us in the 20s. Kids getting on the bus, probably again the last time they'll do so this week. Upper 20s, partly cloudy, calm winds. Make sure you got a jacket. And you'll probably still need it later today as well. Low 50s, partly cloudy. South breeze 5 to 10 when the bus brings them home. Again, that's where we're headed. Low 50s for our highs, maybe some upper 40s. A mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies through the day. And again, as we head into the evening hours, those clouds thicken up. We start going mostly cloudy as we head into the overnight. Do have some rain chances tomorrow. It'll also be warmer tomorrow, and then temperatures drop for the holiday. Details on all of that here in just a few minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, Neosho authorities bring multiple charges against a Kansas City man, including assault on law enforcement. The charges stem from an incident which allegedly occurred Sunday at the Rangeline Road exit of Interstate 44. Lamar Davis of Kansas City has been charged on a 6-count complaint. Those charges include trafficking drugs in the first degree, assault on law enforcement, and resisting arrest. A request for high bond also indicates the defendant stands charged in Oklahoma with drug trafficking and resisting arrest arising from an incident occurring in Craig County on November 28, 2023, in addition to other prior convictions for similar conduct. Authorities in Jasper County investigate an officer-involved shooting which left a man dead. The incident happened about 6:45 Sunday night. Jasper County deputies responded to a disturbance in progress at a residence on West Fountain Road in rural Joplin. When officers arrived, a man identified as Michael Antweiler stepped out of the house with a shotgun and fired at a deputy. The deputy returned fire, striking Antweiler. The deputy then provided first aid until the ambulance arrived. Antweiler was transported to the hospital and pronounced deceased at 8:24 Sunday night. No other residents in the house were injured. The deputy, who has been placed on administrative leave during the investigation, was not injured.
Yeah, it's just a formality where the officer is placed on administrative leave during the course of the investigation. Of course, I always emphasize it doesn't mean that he did anything wrong or that we suspected he did anything wrong. It's just a part of our process is that we would put that officer on leave during that time.
Jasper County authorities called in the Missouri State Highway Patrol to conduct the investigation as an outside agency. A harrowing moment for a Wichita, Kansas man. Kyle Walker says he was sleeping when the shooter started firing rounds into his home, 18 in total. Walker rolled onto the floor, but bullets riddled his bedding and the door leading to his bathroom. While he managed to escape injury, his dog was struck once in the leg. Walker says he is unsure why anyone would target him.
The day following, I've tried to think maybe I honked at someone and he followed me home, or he watched me walking the dog here or something.
Authorities are investigating the incident, and we have more on this story on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Multiple first responders near Peoria, Oklahoma were alerted to a fire Sunday evening on East 69th Road. When they arrived, they found a mobile home and its surroundings in flames. Residents of the home were attempting to remove items from the home as the fire burned. No residents were injured. Firefighters remain on the scene for over 3 hours. Now, it's unknown at this time how many people are displaced. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, with Thanksgiving, with Thanksgiving right around the corner, shoppers are looking for ways to save money. According to the American Farm Bureau Federation, this year, Thanksgiving meals will cost 5% less than last year, but Thanksgiving meals are still up about 20% compared to 5 years ago. Now, shoppers can save money by planning ahead and doing research on grocery store apps or sites that have coupons. Also, shoppers can opt for store brand products that may be cheaper than name brand.
Whenever I don't have much money to spend and I'm going to get groceries, I always look for something that is cheaper but will work the same as what might have been more expensive.
Now, Harp's grocery store is one of the grocery stores offering holiday deals. With purchases of $100, shoppers can get a free turkey. All they have to do is scan the barcode on their app. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Walmart announces a rollback on its diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts after right-wing backlash. Plus, a new plan from President-elect Trump to punish 3 countries could make life more expensive for Americans. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning. It's official. One of the country's most iconic brands has changed its name. Campbell's Soup shareholders have agreed to allow the company to drop soup from its corporate moniker. Now it will be known as the Campbell's Company, and leaders say there's more to Campbell's these days than just soup, and soup is now a smaller part of the company's sales. Campbell's owns a variety of snacks and foods, including Goldfish, Pepperidge Farm, and Snyder's of Hanover. Well, a ransomware attack is forcing Starbucks to go manual in its employee scheduling, and the company says it's in manual mode to ensure its workers get paid properly. The hack disrupted a third-party software system that Starbucks used to track and manage its barista schedules. Store leadership has advised their employees on how to work around the outage. Now, the coffee chain says it will make sure everyone is paid for all hours worked. Several companies have been disrupted by the hack of Blue Yonder, an Arizona-based cloud services provider. 2 of the top 4 grocery chains in the United Kingdom are taking steps to deal with the Blue Yonder outage. But California is creating such high quantities of solar energy that major commercial operators are being forced to curtail production. Now, it's an issue shining a light on the state's plan to fully move into carbon-free electricity sources. According to the Los Angeles Times, in the last 12 months, solar farms have cut production of more than 3 million megawatt hours of solar energy. Now, that's either from a state directive or to prices falling due to the overabundance of the production reduction equates to enough power supply for more than 500,000 California homes on average over a year's time. The curtailed production has more than doubled since 2021. Well, this morning, President-elect Donald Trump is threatening to impose tariffs on the nation's three biggest trade partners, Mexico, Canada, and China. Now, as part of his campaign, is pledged to crack down on illegal immigration and drug trafficking. It comes as Trump is also taking a victory lap after the Justice Department's special counsel moved to have two federal cases against him dismissed. Jared Hill has more from New York.
A new plan from President-elect Donald Trump to punish three countries could make life more expensive for Americans. Day one, Trump is threatening to impose a 25% tariff on all imports from Mexico and Canada, plus a 10% tariff on goods from China. It's part of his effort to combat the flow of illegal migrants and drugs.
You want to allow drugs to come through our southern border? We're going to tariff you. You want to allow them to come through Canada? We're going to tariff you.
Reuters reports that Trump spoke with Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau last night in what the Canadians described as a good conversation. China, Mexico, and Canada are the top three exporters to the U.S., sending over around $1.5 billion worth of goods in 2022. Also, on Monday, the president-elect scored two judicial victories. First, a D.C. federal judge dismissed the election interference case against him just hours after special counsel Jack Smith said it should be dropped.
The dismissal is not because they don't stand behind the evidence, they feel it's strong, not that they don't feel this is a warranted prosecution, they certainly do, but because the Constitution mandates that they cannot prosecute a sitting president.
Smith also requested that Trump be removed from the federal classified documents case out of Florida, which is currently on appeal.
I did absolutely nothing wrong. He's a deranged person.
Trump has long criticized the cases, vowing to fire Smith once he took office. On social media yesterday, Trump called the cases a political hijacking. Jared Hill, CBS News.
President-elect Trump still has yet unresolved legal cases in the states of New York and Georgia. The judge in New York has delayed sentencing after Trump's jury conviction in the so-called hush money trial. The Georgia election interference case is on hold. Trump's lawyers plan to push for those cases to be dismissed as well. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, Skywatch Storm Tracker showing us we've got some partly cloudy skies now, but if you look off to the west, a few more clouds on the way. A quick look outside our camera 7th and range line. So far, we are looking pretty good this morning, but again, we'll have a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. Be a little warmer with the south breeze out there. Temperatures for most of us in the low 50s. We'll have another full look forecast plus your Thanksgiving Day forecast when we come back.
Well, Maine lobstermen have had to change the type of haul rope they use in order to protect endangered right whales. Now, this was due to a directive from federal regulators 2 years ago. So what happened to all of that old rope? Well, Joy Hollowell shows us where some of it has turned up.
From far away, you may think it's tapestry or rug that makes up this artwork. But this is something you need to see to believe.
Yeah, usually I start with my blank panel.
Eric Darling uses discarded lobster fishing rope to create these collages of colliding color.
I call the project the Drift Rope Project because when I was collecting the rope, it was just washed up on the shore over in Cushing when I was living there.
Now living and working out of his studio in Appleton, Darling has collected quite a bit of rope in the last decade.
Little flares of color and the knots that join two different ropes together. I refuse to buy rope or use new rope because there's so much being buried in our landfill. So I'm trying to seek it out through lobstermen directly when they retire their rope, or I go to transfer stations before they bury it.
As for transforming these coils onto canvas, Darling says it starts with a sketch.
And I think of an image that might work with thick lines and not a lot of detail.
From perception to conception involves nailing the various rope pieces to a wooden board and then burning off the ends to create clean edges.
There's a lot of options with the rope, which is nice, and once you put a little bit of movement in the piece, it makes your eyes dance a little bit.
No surprise, most of Darling's pieces feature nautical images, but one of his favorites is not from the sea, but from the sky.
You can disarticulate it and turn it into small strands. You can use the knots and little features and the splices. So I like to find all these features that I'm not familiar with because I'm not part of the fishing industry.
Often, Darling says, these donated strands come with stories about its life at sea.
And I think about all the families it's supported, and so I feel like it pays homage to that working waterfront.
Now let's check in with Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a pretty nice start to the day. Cold, but it looks pretty out there, doesn't it? Just a few clouds. We'll have a few more clouds later today and slightly warmer temperatures. A full look at your forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:22 on this Monday morning. We are starting with the future track for today. We are looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies, kind of a mix through the morning and afternoon before clouds will thicken up later. And we'll have a south wind at about 5 to 10 miles an hour, and that will allow most of us to be a little warmer today than where we were yesterday. And unlike yesterday, where the temperatures kind of fell through the day, today they'll actually do the right thing and warm up into the afternoon. As we head later into tonight and the evening, again, those clouds will thicken up. We'll go mostly cloudy through the evening and then an overnight, and then just be straight up cloudy by Wednesday. Now, initially, we're going to have a south, maybe even an easterly breeze out there, and it'll begin to increase, gusting upwards of 20 ahead of a boundary that will eventually push through. Now, by as early as 8 or 9 a.m., some isolated showers are going to be possible. Now, tomorrow we're going to be a little warmer even than today. So that's some good news, is the fact that any precipitation we see will fall as rain. We'll have slightly better chances a little later in the evening. Again, future track showing where better rain chances are, not necessarily that there will be a shield of rain across the region. But as this boundary pushes through, take a look by the evening. Winds shift out of the north, still gusting upwards of 20. Now, initially, temperatures still warm, but they will take a dive as we head overnight and into Thanksgiving morning. So that brings up the only real winter weather concern we have for Thanksgiving is rain that we see could potentially freeze on the roadways overnight into Thanksgiving morning, leading to some patchy black ice, especially on bridges and overpasses. So just be prepared for that. Slow down. Don't speed to where you're going. I know we're excited to eat, but do watch out for maybe some slick spots Thanksgiving morning. Now, once we go through the day on Thanksgiving, it's going to be a very cold start, which is, again, why the black ice is a concern. And eventually, the clouds will clear. If you're just joining us, I'm not sure I'm not sure what's going on, but on Future Track, the clouds just suddenly stop. But they will go away as we head into Thanksgiving. Speaking of, got a few clouds out there now. Our camera 7th in range line. It is cold though, 23. Thankfully, winds are calm, or these temperatures would feel even worse. Not like this is great. Cold spot right now looks to be Stockton at 21. And we've got some ties for the warmer spots. We've got 26, Bentonville and Chanute. Oh, Cassville Monette now up to 27. So not like it makes a difference, but it's a little warmer. All of us, though, look at these temperature differences. 24 hours ago from right now, we are anywhere from 20 to almost 30 degrees. Look at Bella Vista, 31 degrees. We are upwards of 30 degrees colder now than it was 24 hours ago. Now, that gap will begin to close. In fact, it'll start to switch around. Will be warmer as we head into the afternoon. So cold start, upper 20s, partly cloudy through the morning, low 40s by 11 o'clock. Highs today, again, most of us should make the low 50s out there with that mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. South breeze 5 to 10, but again, some of our northern counties may stop into the upper 40s. Overnight tonight and through the evening, again, clouds thicken up, mostly cloudy. That does slow down the drop in temperatures. We'll eventually fall to the low 40s, maybe a couple of upper 30s here and there. As for Thanksgiving, as I mentioned, in between the noon and 6 time slot here, we will eventually make the low 40s, but you can see we'll spend most of the day in the 30s. So just plan accordingly. It is going to be cold, and if you're staying late at the relative's house, plan for that as well. We're talking lows back into the mid-20s overnight, but the skies will be clear. It's one of those days it'll look nice outside, just maybe won't feel so nice. Once we get beyond that, we stay chilly, warming up a pinch by Saturday, much colder Sunday. In fact, we could even see some highs into the upper 30s on Sunday, and then we'll turn around on this roller coaster ride that we just can't seem to get off of and start warming back up as we head into the next work week. Let's check your forecast. We're going to toss it over to Lise now with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, women who have severe complications during a first pregnancy are less likely to have more babies. That's according to a new study out of Sweden, where researchers looked at more than 1 million women with new babies over a more than 20-year period. They found 3.5% of new mothers had serious complications and were 12% less to have another child, less likely rather. Women who had heart problems, a ruptured uterus, or mental health issues were 50% less likely to have more children. Well, home testing kits can substantially increase screenings for colorectal cancer. New research from the University of North Carolina looked at about 4,000 adults with average risk. Now, the study found that those who received the at-home collection kits were 3 times more likely to be screened within 6 months. A positive result on the home test indicates trace amounts of blood in the stool, which is an early sign of cancer. And offering the HPV vaccine to adults ages 27 to 45 may not prevent HPV-related cancers or cut costs. New research published in the Annals of Internal Medicine found that vaccinating this large group is more expensive and less effective than vaccinating younger people. Study authors believe vaccinating those 27 and younger is the most effective way to prevent cancers related to HPV. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, a Pitt State student organization holds a shoe drive for kids in need.
Oh, we got a few clouds out there now, so partly cloudy skies. More clouds off to the west, however. We'll have a look at that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the city of Carthage turns up the lights with a sparkle in Central Park.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Snowe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday, November the 26th, 2024.
How about that?
Here we go. We're getting closer to 2025.
Yes,
and of course, Christmas right around the corner. Thanksgiving just a couple of days down the road. Big sales going on, of course, for Black Friday. We'll have some live coverage this Friday, I believe. Or at least that's our plan.
Yes.
Depends on how everything shapes up. But one way or the other. Deals to be had.
Absolutely.
And I've got a deal for you. How about a slightly warmer day?
I'll take it.
Even though it's really cold now, we'll see if we can't make it a little warmer for you out there. Quick look outside. Our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. Looks beautiful out there, doesn't it? Looks great. Just a few clouds, beautiful colors in the sky. The temperatures don't agree with this scene, but at least the sky looks nice. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. Of course, it's pointed back to the west, so it's still dark out to the west, but you can see few more cars on the road as well. On the future track for today, we're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies. We'll have a south breeze around 5 to 10, and that will bring in some slightly warmer temperatures. And as we go, say after about 4 or 5 o'clock, clouds are going to thicken up. And then we're going to start to go mostly cloudy, which does slow down the drop in temperatures for tonight. So going to be chilly, but not as cold as where we are right now. Where are we right now? We are in Antarctica. I'm just kidding. It's a lot colder down there, but it does certainly feel cold out there. 23 Joplin and Pittsburgh. Yeah, I was talking to this cashier at Quick Trip this morning. I told her, I said, this is the thing. We've had this discussion. You don't have to scrape the heat off your car. You don't have to wait for your car to cool down in these temperatures. You don't have to go out in the blazing heat and shovel the heat off your sidewalk. There are some advantages to when it's warm, okay? There's less to have to deal with sometimes. All right, we are in the low, mid, and upper 20s across the region, so again, a very chilly start, even though we're going to be a little warmer today than where we were yesterday. Kids getting on the bus, partly cloudy, upper 20s, winds expected to be calm. Then they'll pick up out of the south, again about 5 to 10 miles an hour, partly cloudy when the bus brings them home before most of them, if not all of them, start their Thanksgiving holiday. We'll be in the low 50s out there. And that's where most of us are headed for highs. Low 50s, maybe some upper 40s, especially our northern counties. Now through the first portion of the day, it'll be a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies, but then all of us will get in on mostly cloudy skies as we head later into the evening. It's going to be even warmer tomorrow. It's going to be windier as well, and then it's going to be a little wetter for some of us. Details on that, plus a look at your Thanksgiving forecast coming up a little later. Elise?
All right, see you soon, Chris. We've enjoyed some mild days this fall, but don't be fooled. Winter is just around the corner, and with it, falling temperatures. Now, these cold conditions affect not only us, but also our vehicles. Now, the question now, do you have the essentials in your car if you get stranded? We spoke to experts who shared crucial advice on how to stay safe and prepared in case you need roadside assistance.
Ice scraper, snow brush always comes in handy during the snow months, winter months, and as well as a good pair of jumper cables that can help you get going if your battery dies and get you back on the road to get it fixed.
Chabaria says colder temperatures also can cause your battery power to drop 35%. He recommends keeping jumper cables in your vehicle at all times. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Sky Watch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. The KOAM Sky Watch weather app. And don't forget, our Feed the Four States campaign is still going strong. Yesterday afternoon, Ron's Supermarket held a food drive with all the proceeds going to the Wesley House Food Pantry in Pittsburgh.
I think what's so great about food drives like this is it allows people in the community a chance to also give. So we buy a lot of food through the Kansas Food Bank and through other sources, but this is a way that community members can help out those that need a little extra help this holiday season.
You can donate to Feed the Four States anytime online on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. And there are many places during the holidays who are serving up Thanksgiving dinners that won't cost a thing. You can scan this QR code and head over to our events page on KOAMNewsNow.com for a list of places hosting Thanksgiving Day dinners. Now keep in mind, some places may require sign-ups before you can attend, so check in with host organizations to make sure. And while you're on our events page, make sure and check out all of the other events happening in and around the area. The HHPR Club at Pitt State encourages the public to take a walk in someone else's shoes. Yesterday, the club hosted the Souls for Souls shoe drive. The club invited the public out to donate lightly used shoes for those in need. Now, if you missed out on the opportunity to donate yesterday, not to worry, the drive runs for the entire month of November. Well, the Joplin Parks and Recreation will soon put a cost share grant from the Missouri Department of Conservation to good use. The department will use the Community Forestry Cost Share Grant to update its existing tree inventory, assess trees for risks in city parks, and prune trees in Campbell Parkway and Senator Ron Richard Memorial Park. Now, Joplin Parks and Rec staff collect tree and forest information to make decisions about tree care that benefits residents and improves the safety and health of pruned trees in these areas. Last night, hundreds of Carthage residents gathered at Central Park in Carthage to watch as the mayor and the Carthage Water and Electric Board president flipped the switch, turning the park into a winter wonderland. Now, this is the fourth year for Sparkle in the Park, a dazzling light display created by Carthage Water and Electric plant employees.
So I'm with my sister and one of my good friends, and so I brought my sister out because I'm home from college for Thanksgiving break, and so I was like, let's come and see the lights at Carthage, and then got to bring one of my friends with me as well, and so it's just really special to get to come with your family and your friends and hang out and take pictures and just have a good time.
Sparkle in the Park featured appearances by both Santa, his elves, and the Grinch. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Well, many U.S. workers had trouble getting emails due to a major Microsoft outage. And we're tracking warmer temperatures. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, the holiday season is quickly approaching, and it's likely you'll be giving or receiving a gift card for a retailer or restaurant. Christiane Benavides reports many of those cards aren't getting used.
Thomas Visgentas says he has an unused gift card sitting at home.
I think there's a Starbucks card that I ended up not using that I need to use pretty soon.
He's far from alone. A survey from the personal finance site Bankrate found 43% of Americans have unused gift cards, gift vouchers, or store credit that add up to an average of $244.
Most of them probably end up in like someone's drawer or, I don't know, in the back of a car seat, and they just don't use it.
It's our lifestyle, I guess, just we see it and we toss it aside and forget about it.
I'm surprised how the amount of unused gift card value continues to grow.
Bankrate senior industry analyst Ted Rossman says it's not just the recipient's fault.
Put some thought into the store or restaurant that you're giving. Pick a place that your recipient likes. The gift card can be targeted. You just have to put some thought into what you're giving.
If you don't want to use the gift card because you don't like that store, there are plenty of websites that will offer cash for them.
Card Cash pays around 80% of the gift card's value. Another site called gcx.race hosts a marketplace to sell cards. There's a 15% fee when someone buys it. But the simplest solution may be to just use it.
And you said you definitely know of a Starbucks gift card that you haven't used.
Yeah, I do.
Do you live here?
I do live here, yeah.
There's a Starbucks right there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. I should use it.
I think you should.
Long story short, yeah.
Experts say treat those cards like cash and make sure you're not throwing free money away. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Well, Microsoft says its 365 service should be fully restored today. Now, this comes after an outage blocked access to key subscription services like Outlook and Teams yesterday. The company deployed a fix, though users experienced delays in recovering service. Microsoft is investigating the cause of the global outage. Well, Macy's is delaying the release of its third quarter earnings to next month after an employee paid up to $154 million in expenses related to small deliveries. The retailer, which owns Bloomingdale's and Bluemercury, is investigating the circumstances surrounding this discrepancy and says the employee in question no longer works there. A preliminary report shows Macy's sales dropped 2.4% last quarter. And Amazon workers in more than 20 countries, including the U.S., are planning strikes in protest between Black Friday and Cyber Monday. The labor group organizing the protest, a global union, says workers want to raise awareness of what it calls Amazon's anti-worker and anti-democratic practices. An Amazon spokesperson says the company is always listening and looking for ways to improve, but it's proud of its competitive pay, benefits, and work experience. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a cold start out there this morning. If you haven't been out yet, make sure you put on a coat, even if you're just going to grab the paper or whatever the case may be. Grab a coat. It's cold. Looks great, though. Our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Sun is rising. Got a few clouds out there. Beautiful start to the day. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. A few more folks on the way, and I guarantee you every last one of them probably have their heat on. Again, unless you are a Siberian Husky or an Antarctica native, and this is just, normal weather to you, you probably want your heat on this morning. Into this afternoon on the future track, we have a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies across the area. And then as we go, say 4 or 5 o'clock and afterwards, we're going to go mostly cloudy. We'll also have a southerly breeze, which will help bring in slightly warmer temperatures for us today, although that's not what we're experiencing now. Those numbers show you what we're experiencing now, and I don't like it. But again, some of you do, and by all means, enjoy it. But for me, and I'm sure many others, I know Elise is in this bus, those aren't nice numbers. 23, Joplin and Pittsburgh. Across the region, we're all sitting into the 20s right now. We've got low, mid, and even still some upper 20s across the region, so either way you paint it, it's just cold outside. Kids getting on the bus, probably the last time they're going to do so, at least this week. We're going to go upper 20s, partly cloudy skies. Winds expected to be calm or at least light and variable. Then we'll have a south breeze 5 to 10, partly cloudy skies, and low 50s by the time the bus comes home. So again, most of us will make the low 50s today. And through the first portion of our day, it's a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies, and mostly cloudy skies through the evening. But again, some of us will be into the upper 40s for our highs today. Won't get much warmer than that. Now here's the nice thing. The clouds will actually slow down the temperature decrease later this evening. Will still be chilly, but not as cold as we are now. We'll have details on that and your Thanksgiving Day forecast in just a moment, as well as birthdays and anniversaries. But first, here is what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony DeCopel. Coming up on CBS Mornings, award-winning actor Coleman Domingo joins us. He's talking about fighting for his life in the new conspiracy thriller. It's called The Madness. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Time for some Tuesday birthdays in the 4 states. We're going to start in Girard with Mackenzie Wood, celebrating birthday number 16.
And in Moundville, a happy 90th birthday to Romy Phillips.
And we have Paula Parsons celebrating another year wiser in Galena.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it. Three birthdays.
I want to wish a very happy birthday to the 3 folks who have their names in our birthday list. There are, at any given time, several 100,000 people in our viewing area. There is no way only 3 people are celebrating a birthday today. We need to correct this situation at once.
Certainly do. And you can help us by submitting your birthdays and those anniversaries. Don't forget those at birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful photos, messages to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to also include the date of your submission as well. A celebration when you submit, or your submission as well.
I mean, it will be in the email. It'll be time-stamped, but if you want to add that in there as well, by all means, do so. Like I said, a very happy birthday to the 3 folks on our list. That I don't want to downplay their celebration at all. We had a Sweet 16 and a 90th birthday out there.
Great birthdays.
Great. But there's no way only 3 people in our 15-county area are celebrating a birthday today. That is the shortest. It's been 2.5 years I've been doing the morning show, and that's like the shortest list we've ever had. We got to fix that. So make sure you help us out by submitting your birthdays and anniversaries to us, because we want to celebrate. It makes us joyous to make you joyous. Now, I'm going to try and make you joyous by showing you what looks like a beautiful start to the day. Look at that. Looks great. Just a few clouds, sun's rising. That's downtown Pittsburgh. Our camera there. We'll head over to our camera at 7th and Range Line. Another fantastic view. Just a few clouds. Otherwise, clear skies. Looks wonderful. You're not going to be so joyous when we talk about our current temperatures, but I'll give you some additional joy. All right. As we head into the afternoon, we're going to have a southerly breeze, which is going to allow us to be a bit warmer than we were yesterday. In fact, today we'll go the right direction. Instead of temperatures kind of dropping through the day, they'll be rising. We'll have a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies, and the majority of us should make the low 50s. Now, some of our far northern counties may stop in the upper 40s, but still, I think that's ultimately better than what we saw yesterday afternoon when it was breezy and cold and just unpleasant. Now, clouds thicken up later this evening. We'll go mostly cloudy through the evening and overnight, and as by the time we get into Wednesday, we're just straight up cloudy. Now, the cloud cover helps slow down temperatures dropping this evening. They'll still fall back. You can see some of us starting in the upper 30s. I think most of us should start in the low 40s, but they will fall back. You'll just slow down as those clouds thicken up. Then by 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow, isolated shower chances will start to roll in. Now, most of us are expected to be dry, but some showers will be possible. Now, the future track's going to show where those shower chances will be, and you can see we have slightly better chances after, say, 3 o'clock tomorrow. Now, this doesn't mean that there will be a rain shield across the entire area, but this is the better opportunity to see rain as we go into the evening. This rain associated with a boundary. As that boundary pushes through, these winds switch out of the north. They'll be gusting upwards of 20. All right, we're going to be warmer tomorrow, but something I want to talk about. One, during the day, when we have these rain chances, should be warm enough that anything we see precipitation-wise will fall as rain. The problem we have is behind this boundary, temperatures will fall very quickly. And that'll leave us into the upper 20s as we start Thanksgiving. So patchy black ice is certainly a concern. So just be cautious if you're heading out Thursday morning. Just watch out for slick spots, especially on bridges and overpasses, because some of that rain could refreeze out there. 23 in Joplin. If it was raining right now, it would certainly not be rain. And across the region, temperatures in the 20s. We've got low, mid, and still some upper 20s out there, and a light and variable breeze for now. As we head, also want to show you this, by the way. Compared to 24 hours ago, we are anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees colder now than it was at this time yesterday morning. That gap will eventually close, and eventually we'll switch on the warmer side as we head into the afternoon, but still a very cold start. Upper 20s, partly cloudy skies, low 40s by 11 o'clock this morning. We're having another look at your forecast, plus the news you need to know. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to hear how a classic comfort food in Britain is fighting for its survival.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities in Jasper County investigate an officer-involved shooting that leaves a man dead. Jasper County deputies responded to a disturbance on West Fountain Road in rural Joplin. When officers arrived, Michael Antweiler stepped out of the house with a shotgun and fired at a deputy. The deputy returned fire, striking Antweiler. No other residents in the house were injured. Jasper County authorities called in the Missouri State Highway Patrol to conduct the investigation as an outside agency. Neosho authorities bring multiple charges against Lamar Davis of Kansas City from an incident Sunday. Davis has been charged with a 6-count complaint, including trafficking drugs in the first degree, assault on law enforcement, and resisting arrest. A request for a high bond also indicates the defendant stands charged in Oklahoma as well. Well, there are many places during the holidays that serve up Thanksgiving dinners that won't cost a thing. You can scan this QR code and head over to our events page on KOAMnewsnow.com for a list of places hosting Thanksgiving Day dinners. Now, keep in mind, some places may require sign-ups before you can attend, so check in with host organizations to make sure. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, grab a coat. It is cold. We will eventually warm up. South winds will kick us into the low 50s, maybe some upper 40s, and a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. Into the evening, mostly cloudy skies build in. That slows down the temperature drop. Most of us low 40s, but some upper 30s possible. South winds continue for our Thanksgiving. Cold. Now, in between noon and 6, we'll probably make some low 40s out there, but we're going to spend the majority of the day in the 30s with a low of 25. But at least it'll be dry. Skies will be clear. Upper 50s tomorrow, breezy. North winds gusting to 20 and maybe an isolated shower or two. Do watch out for the possibility of maybe some black ice Thanksgiving morning if that rain has an opportunity to freeze after it stops. And then it'll be chilly into the weekend, and we'll warm back up again next week.
Alrighty. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making stuffed and rolled turkey breast in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Holiday shopping is in full swing, and Black Friday is almost here. But how good will the deals actually be? Well, next on CBS Mornings, Walmart's U.S. CEO will discuss whether rising prices will keep you from getting the presents you want.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Michael Hendricks from the Cruising in the Cold joins us in the studio to talk about how you can help area kids this Christmas season.
And Charlene Patton in the studio with another incredibly healthy holiday recipe. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. We had so much fun doing this that we're going to do it again tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.